But I think the other factor is just home prices. So we have had a correction without a correction where sales volume is down as much as 50% in some markets, but prices are about the same. And so sellers are looking for some kind of indication that they aren't going to be able to get the price that they want. That is the only reason that they will invest more in repairs or drop the list price. And meanwhile, buyers think that time is on their side, that if we wait until the spring, these buyers will get a better deal.
Wait, look at your bank account. Does that number feel like it's enough to own a piece of Arizona? Or does it feel like a joke? For 3 years, we've watched the Phoenix skyline climb while our dreams of owning a home here withered under the heat of 8% interest rates and prices that defied logic. We were told to wait. We were told it would crash. It didn't. It just froze us out. But as we sit here in 2026, something is shifting in the desert air. Something quiet, unsettling, and potentially life-changing. There is a specific, jagged data point emerging from the latest Zillow and Realtor.com forecasts that nobody is talking about loudly yet, because frankly, it sounds like a glitch. While the rest of the country is bracing for more of the same, Phoenix just hit a tripwire in the market. If you bought last month, you might want to look away. If you've been sitting on the sidelines, your heart is about to start racing. But not for the reason you think. There is a math trap closing in, and by the time most people realize the window is open, it will have already slammed shut. We are looking at a projected alignment of mortgage rates and local pricing that hasn't existed since the world turned upside down in 2020. But there's a catch, a high-stakes if, that could leave you either holding the keys or staring at a for-lease sign forever. A fork in the road that only feels abrupt when people stop following how the conditions were already being set by staying subscribed. Look closely at the person sitting across from you in traffic on the I-10. One of you is about to make $1 million mistake, and the other is about to find the glitch in the Phoenix Matrix. The tension in the valley right now is thick enough to choke on. You feel it, don't you? That nagging sensation that the ground is moving under your feet while you're trying to stand still. For years, the narrative has been buy now or be priced out forever. Then it shifted to wait for the crash. Neither happened. Instead, we entered a purgatory of stagnation. But the silence of 2025 has just been broken by a forecast so specific and so localized to Arizona that it's causing a literal panic in the boardrooms of institutional investors. Why Phoenix? Why now? Why is the most overvalued desert in America suddenly the only place where the red line on the graph is starting to point down? Realtor.com just dropped a bombshell, and Zillow is backing them up with data that feels almost illegal to share. They are pointing to a 1% fracture. That sounds small, doesn't it? 1%. In a normal world, that's a rounding error. But in the 2026 Phoenix market, that 1% is the difference between a lifetime of renting and the kind of equity shift that creates generational wealth. But here's where it gets uncomfortable. You've been told that when prices drop, it's a sign of weakness. You've been conditioned to fear a declining market. Don't catch a falling knife, they say. But what if the knife isn't falling? What if the floor is simply being rebuilt at a lower elevation while your ladder is getting taller? We are looking at a projected settlement of mortgage rates at 6%. Again, on paper, that's just a number. In reality, when you overlay a 6% rate against a slightly dipping Phoenix median price, the math does something it hasn't done in over 5 years. It creates a vacuum. Think about the sheer pressure building up in the Scottsdale suburbs and the Chandler tech corridors. Thousands of families are hovering over the apply button, waiting for a sign. If everyone jumps at once, what happens to that affordability relief? It evaporates. The moment the news cycle confirms that Phoenix is affordable again, the very thing that made it affordable will be devoured by the herd. You are currently standing in the eye of a hurricane. It's calm, it's quiet, and it's deeply unsettling because you know the wall of wind is coming. Let's talk about the reality gap. Most people are looking at the sticker price of a home in Gilbert or Surprise and shaking their heads. They see $500,000, and they remember when it was $300,000. They are stuck in the past. But the elite players, the ones who own the blocks you want to live on, aren't looking at the price. They are looking at the carry cost. They know something you don't. They know that a price stay flat or a slight edge down in a high-demand metro like Phoenix is a statistical anomaly. It's a coiled spring effect. Every day you wait, you're gambling with a 2020 level opportunity. Does that make your stomach turn? It should. Because if these forecasts are right, 2026 isn't just another year in the real estate cycle. It's the final reset. This is the last time the numbers will align before the next massive institutional buy-up. We are seeing data that suggests Phoenix is one of the only major metros where this specific relief is happening. Why isn't it happening in Austin? Why not in Nashville? Something unique is happening in our desert, and if you can't see the pattern yet, you're the one being hunted. The math trap I mentioned earlier is closing. Imagine the 6% rate arrives, but the inventory stays flat. Imagine the 1% price dip happens, but the competition triples. You'd be paying less per month, sure, but you'd be fighting 20 other offers to get it. Is that relief, or is it a different kind of hell? You're looking for a savior in the Federal Reserve, but the savior might actually be the very volatility that's making you lose sleep. We have to look at the late 2026 pivot. There is a specific month, a specific window, where the intersection of these rates and these flat prices creates a golden zone. If you miss it by even 30 days, the math reverts. The monthly payment jumps by $400. The dream slips away. Are you prepared to calculate that risk? Or are you going to keep watching these videos until the for sale signs in your neighborhood are replaced by sold stickers for prices you could have afforded? The most terrifying part isn't that prices might stay flat. The terrifying part is why they are staying flat while the rest of the world is still climbing. There is a hidden variable in the Arizona economy, a ghost in the machine, that is keeping the lid on prices just long enough for a specific group of people to move. Who are they? And what do they know about the end of 2026 that you're just now hearing for the first time? The ghost in the machine, the reason Phoenix is decoupling from the rest of the country, is a temporary supply-side surge that's about to collide with a demand-side hesitation. This is the golden zone. While the rest of the nation struggles with inventory shortages, Arizona's massive 2024-2025 construction boom is finally hitting the market. This is why prices are staying flat while others rise. We have a momentary surplus. But it's a mirage that will vanish the moment those mortgage rates hit the 6% mark. A disappearance that only feels sudden when people stop following how the pressure was already being dialed up by staying subscribed. So, here is the answer you've been looking for. The math works because of the debt-to-income pivot. At a 7% rate, a median Phoenix home requires an income that 60% of local families simply don't have. But when that rate settles to 6% and the home price edges down by just 1%, nearly 15,000 additional households in the valley suddenly qualify for a mortgage. Think about that. 15,000 competitors entering the arena at the exact same time as you. The affordability relief isn't a gift from the market. It's a starting gun. The reality is that by late 2026, your monthly payment could be the lowest it's been since the world stopped turning in 2020. We're talking about a potential $500 to $700 difference in your monthly overhead compared to the peaks of last year. That is your window. That is your exit from the rent trap. But the window only stays open as long as the fear remains. The second the uncomfortability you feel right now turns into confidence for the general public, the bidding wars return, and the 1% price dip is swallowed whole by over-asking offers. You have to move, while others are still afraid to look at the numbers. This is the Arizona market's final reset. The data is clear, the rates are moving, and the desert is shifting. If you want to stay ahead of the math trap and see the specific neighborhood breakdowns before they hit the evening news, Hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'm tracking these forecasts daily, so you don't have to guess with your life savings.